Hello everyone, my name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium. I react to video game music as a musician myself. Today is a Patreon request for Alexandru. The return of 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. This song is called Edge of the Future. Before I get started on this is kind of a throwback because when I first started this series of reacting to video game music, this was the fourth video I've done, which was 13 Sentinels, and that was requested by my friend Juno back when I asked Twitter for requests. So this is a little bit of a sentimental kind of thing. I have not heard 13 Sentinels since that day, which was way over a year ago. But I do remember even back then it stood out. It was like this kind of really trippy sort of fast thing, but it it was cool. So this is in a way just kind of feels full circle. And since then I've had a couple of requests for 13 Sentinels. But here we go. I still don't know anything about this game, just the fact that it has like a little bit of a cult following, and I'm excited. It feels like, it honestly to me feels like day one when I first started this, so it's kind of weird, but here we are. 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, Edge of the Future. Let's go. I feel like I'm being washed with a signal. I don't know what that signal is though. Synth bass. It's hard to tell if this is a build-up or just like tense ambience. Oh, it changed. Oh, that's... what a feeling. It feels like... I don't know if it's gonna like take off or not. It's like right on the edge. Edge of the future? That's funny. Oh. Love when the song title can fit. Pretty sure it's gonna stay in this like energy the whole time. shifting around, but it's not at the same time. This is the least amount of sound that's been in the song so far. So it's like breathing a lot. Never mind. Ignore what I said earlier. Wow. That works so well, actually. Can't hear the... Man, talk about a cliffhanger. I feel like it was just starting in a way. Interesting how the beat kicked in so late, but we'll get to that. Okay, so I did get that feeling again from the first time, where it kind of still like stood out, even though like I've heard so many things. It just kind of has its own little identity. It's odd, you know. Like the first words that come to mind when I think of like a 13 Sentinels soundtrack is like weird, ambient, electronic, odd type of thing. So I had a big feeling of suspense here, like looming suspense over and over and over. You know, orchestral ambience, but also was very, you know, had a lot of electronic elements. A lot of it was kind of mixed. For me, it was like 50-50. It was like electronic and kind of orchestral, which is pretty cool. But it just kept going and going and going, and then it felt like it just kind of was like hitting this apex and just kind of staying there for a long time. And I didn't know if it was gonna like erupt or just kind of like keep you here. So it had this odd tension to it, which was kind of uncomfortable, but the music was nice, so it kind of like counterbalanced that. It was a little bit odd, but there was not a single moment except for before the beat kicked in where there wasn't like some overtones going on. It was like kind of earlier when I said I felt like I'm being washed by something. That's what the whole song sounded like to me. It was like drenched in overtones. There was just sound everywhere. If like even in quieter parts, there was still like a like just ambience 101 type of thing. And then at that moment, when everything kind of dropped out for maybe like 20 seconds before the beat kicked in, I thought it was just coming down. This is like the end of the song. But in fact, that was just kind of the I guess like the build up for the beat coming in. When the beat came in, actually it was quite a surprise because it was 4 minutes into it, quite late. But, you know, there's no rules. You can put it in whenever. But I wasn't expecting it that late into it. It just didn't... After a certain point, I started to not envision anything past what I originally heard. I was like, I can't even hear a beat on this. I can't even hear percussion. I can't. At this stage of where I was at, like 4 minutes in, I was like, okay, this is just where it's gonna go. Which was cool because when that, the beat came in and everything kind of sped up. Obviously, the song didn't speed up. It's just they had they just had a faster sounding drum pattern, but the tempo stayed the same. What I liked about it though is that it wasn't overbearing. It wasn't just like a huge like punch to the face and like, whoa, we're boom 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 now. It was like a nice introduction to the percussion. It wasn't overbearing. It wasn't mixed all crazy. It wasn't all of a sudden in the forefront of the song. You can't you can't ignore it. It's there, but it's not. It was like mixed kind of in the back. It was like the perfect volume and the perfect type of sound, that kind of electronic drum beat. So it worked. It just felt like another part of the song. It didn't feel like how do I explain this? It didn't feel like a cheap way to get into a cool part of the song. Like I feel like if you put a build up that late, it's almost like how do I explain it? The only way I can put it in my head is like it didn't sound like a cop out. It just worked. That's it. That's it. And then the only thing I got was the vocals came in. I don't remember if the other one I heard had vocals. I really don't remember. It's been over a year. But at first, my initial reaction to that, only because it's fresh in my memory, was Near. But that kind of went away. The only reason I said Near is because it kind of had like that sort of kid-like sound at some places. But it didn't really sound like it at the end of the day. It's just the first thing I thought of. But I was thinking that I'm like, are there like kids, or is that like the main characters? Because I'm looking at this and they all look like young adults. Not kids, obviously, but I mean like teenagers, young adults. You got one staring back at me and the other ones, they're all looking at this colossal monster back there. So that's interesting. It went from just straight ambient. Well, let's recap. If you were to explain this song, this goes for any song. This is like a whole other content idea. But if you were to explain songs in like a written form or verbal form, it'd be quite interesting to grasp. For example, we have suspenseful orchestral chords, never having a resolving sort of structure, overtones all over the place. I'm trying to recap in my head. And then thinking it's going to stay in one spot, all of a sudden the music drops out. Beat kicks in, which is a faster beat than I would imagined, while still keeping the same overtones and suspense, which then comes layered with like a crowd type of teenage vocal. See what I'm saying? When you explain it, I'm bad at explaining things, but when you talk it out, the song sounds very interesting. And like I said, weird, odd, kind of mysterious. I think mysterious is a good overall term for what I've heard from 13 Sentinels Aegis Room. Because it seems like that. It seems like the whole game is going for this artistic type of vibe. Just the name alone catches your attention. Like, what does that mean? 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. It's a very complex title. Also, Edge of the Future, that also sounds pretty, artistic. So again, mysterious. Everything here that I heard, seen, felt, tasted, everything is all mysterious. Who are they? What is that? What's up with the title? That song? Who are the composers? You know what I mean? Like it garners your attention, I guess, which is cool. That's, I would imagine to be the point of these composers, if maybe they thought one day someone would be blindly reacting to them, is to garner their interest. So it did for me. I have no idea what kind of game it is, but I don't know. There's something special about it, just because, like I said, it was within my first 5 videos that I ever did. So it's like I'm never gonna forget those first 5, because those are the ones that I just asked a couple friends, like, hey, I'm thinking of this new series. It's pretty stupid, but if you guys have any VGM you want me to listen to, check it out and send me a link. You know, and then ever since those 5, it's been nothing but community-driven requests. So it's been a long ride. Anyways, thank you again to Alexandra for that, and thanks again to Juno for introducing me to that a year ago. Shout out to homie. If you want to make a request too, you could do so on Patreon or PayPal. Either are totally fine if you don't mind waiting. There is a waitlist, but news, if you're still here watching these, I know a lot of people skip through this. I'm introducing something that's kind of important. Starting this week, I started this whole random draw thing. So if you ever requested something to me, there's more info in like Discord and Patreon, but basically you have a chance of being randomly drawn. So, but if you want to skip the line for sure, there is a platinum tier on Patreon, which I provide. It skips the line. A big thank you to my current supporters of that: Kevin, Patrick, Shadow Maxim, Vanadel, Kalanin, Gardelane, DJ Singletone, Mushi Mary, Jordan, and Fissy. Again, if you want more information about the other things, that is on Patreon, and I posted it in Discord as well. Anyways, until next time, dudes and dudettes, my name is Jesse. Take it easy.